Hello, you guys. I'm here to give you my review of Season 1, Episode 7 of Vikings, entitled The King's Ransom. So, yeah, in this review, there may be a few things I'm going to forget, but I'm going to touch upon the main things that happened in this episode. Primarily from least, to greatest. So, to begin off, we have Siggy wanting to be a servant to Lagertha. At first, when she comes through, you have Bjorn, rightfully so, being concerned because Siggy was the wife of the previous Earl Harrelson, that tried to murder his father and as well as all of them. But Lagertha quickly says, you know what, Siggy to Bjorn, Siggy would have been the same. I would have been in the same position Siggy would have. Is at right now if Ragnar was the one that died, in battle. So you have Siggy really trying to be under Lagertha's thumb as her servant. And you have Athelstan come in saying to Lagertha that when he was a monk and he was serving Father Cuthbert, he felt happy because instead of thinking about himself, he thought about the bigger picture and serving others. And once again, like I said before, made him feel happy. So Lagertha accepts Siggy's offer as a servant, but says that she would never treat her like a servant and that her and her daughter are now under her protection. So when I watched the scene, I was thinking back to the previous episode with Rollo saying to Siggy that wouldn't she want to marry the next Earl. So I'm wondering if Siggy did this out of a little bit of her just trying to get deep within so she can break. If this was part of her Rollo's plan in order for them to take out both Lagertha and Ragnar. Or was she really being, sincere about her really wanting to be under Lagertha's protection? But I guess we'll see further in the series. So the next important thing that happened in this episode, we see that the Vikings have arrived in Northumbria, and we see that King Ayla's brother, who I believe is Lord Athelwolf, has arrived to command King Ayla's men. So, just from this meeting, we see that Lord Athelwolf seems to be a really good guy. There's this funny little part in the scene in which some of the lords are saying that the poets sing Lord Athelwolf's praises, and he says that's because, they pay him, and, he pays them, and that if they pay the poets, they will do the same thing. And, yeah, we have this, before we end that scene, we have King Ayla's wife being very, serious and content and fearful. So, as we continue, we have the Vikings in their camp. We have Ragnar, Rollo, One Eye, Floki, and company pretty much chopping wood, creating spikes, preparing just in case, if attack's about to come. And we also have Lord Athelwolf and his small portion of his army just looking over, watching what they're doing. So each of his soldiers on both sides, on both left and his right, are really wanting Lord Athelwolf to attack the Vikings right now since they're vulnerable. And he was against it, saying that there's no need, that they're just scavengers and beasts and we can just outthink them. And once again, the guy on the left keeps on saying, trying to keep on forcing the point of attacking, till Lord Athelwolf snaps and says, listen, I was doing this pretty much when both of you sons of bitches were sucking on your mama's titties, okay? Shut the fuck up. Leave. We're going back to camp. So after this, ironically, you have Rollo saying to Ragnar, why don't we just attack? You have Ragnar saying, all Rollo says, attack. Stop being stupid. We can't afford to waste half our men just by being reckless. We'll attack at the most opportune time. And then you have Rollo being sort of like a child, kind of sneering, and then just walking away, and Ragnar just kind of smirking to himself. So a little bit later, literally the next scene, you have one of the soldiers pissing in the water stream. Don't know why they would do that. That tends to cause disease. Anywho, the Vikings, pretty much, in the Saxon camp, led by Lord Athelwolf, everyone's asleep. It's nighttime. So the Vikings they have their little fires, and they start throwing, the fire underneath the tents. And that awakes the soldiers, and they really start to go ham on them. Everyone. You got Ragnar being as quick as a cat, quick as Quicksilver, just going at these dudes. 1, 2, 3, bop. Rollo kicking dudes' heads in. The old man cutting heads off, saying, Odin! You have Floki, getting his little shine, whatever. You have Left just breaking necks. And during this whole melee, you have Lord Ethelwolf literally praying to the Christian cross symbol, which is huge. I swear that that battle must have lasted probably 3 minutes or 2 minutes. Probably not in real time, but if it actually happens. And you have soldiers pretty much saying, "Come on, man, come on. We need your help. We need your help. We need your help." And he just not even acknowledging them. He's just like, "I'm gonna finish this prayer and then my help." So pretty much when he decides to finish his prayer and pulls out his sword, Floki fucks with his tent and the tent collapses on him, which was really funny yet quite sad. Yeah, Floki's little giggle, So after that, all of King Ayla's men, including Lord Ethelwolf, soldiers, are rounded up. Yeah, Ragnar asking Lord Ethelwolf who he is. He says that he's the king's brother. So Ragnar is walking, Ethelwolf to Rollo, Floki, and Left. And Floki, Left, and Rollo notice that the King Ayla's men weapons are stronger. The iron is stronger, much more efficient. So Ragnar mentions that Ethelwolf is the king. That he's the brother of King Ayla, and that maybe they should bring him back to his brother. So they go on horseback. They meet up with. No, actually, no. There was a scene that happened before with King Ayla talking to the other lords of his kingdom, and you have the priest who was on King Ayla's left saying that these men came from God, and that this happened primarily to make the Christian people pay for all their grievous sins that they have committed, both in the past and as of right now. You have one of the lords saying that they are devils and that devils can be bargained with, and we have to do everything that we can, even if it goes down to the last man, to rid them. And you have one of the soldiers saying that he doesn't believe that they neither came from God or the devil, but primarily they're just savage men that just want money. So we might as well just pay them off and be done with them. Then you have some people shouting, "Coward, coward, coward." And other people saying, "Smart, that's smart move, man, that's smart move." You have Ayla silencing them, saying, "You know what, I have much to think on." So that's pretty much the end of that meeting. And then you have King Ayla in his private quarters praying to God, saying to smite his enemies and protect him and all that shit. And then you have one of his messengers, whatever, tell him that the Vikings are there. So Ragnar, Rollo, Floki, and company are on horseback, and they meet up with King Ayla's, the rest of his men, rest of his soldiers. And they're trying to talk to Ragnar. Ragnar really not having it. Ragnar's quiet the entire time. One of the soldiers asks who's the leader. Ragnar and company stay quiet. And Ragnar and his men just leave, And the next scene, you have Ragnar literally taking a shit. And Rollo suggesting that they just attack now, And Ragnar saying no. He said he wants to know how they live, how the king lives, what kind of men of honor, what kind of men they really are, and all that. And Rollo's like, if we go inside, King Ayla will kill us. And that is true. If they do go inside, he has every reason to kill him. He has the advantage. They went to his house, and he can just kill them off easily. But Ragnar mentions the fact that he has his brother, that they have his brother. And Rollo's like, who the fuck cares if we got his brother? Why should he care? Why should King Ayla care that we have his brother? And Ragnar's like, don't I care about mine? And that stumped Rollo in his tracks, and Rollo's like, damn, once again, this dude outsmarted me. Aren't I the older brother? Can I at least have one moment of superiority? So eventually, the Vikings come back, also without Lord Ethelwolf, and they pretty much go, enter, King Ayla's town, November. So it was really interesting, that scene. It was like literally like at least from a perspective of the Northumbrian people, like seeing foreign aliens like you never seen in your life, and you're just like mystified at the same time disgusted by them. You have one part, you see the women like, ooh, you know what I mean? All fearful, at the same time interested. You see the old man spitting, at them as they make their way into the town. And then you have Ragnar when he gets off. Ragnar's observing everything, like from the carpet, the way the people are dressed, the way people are lined up, the statues, all that shit. And then you have King Ayla just looking at Ragnar. And Ragnar's silent pretty much during most of the time King Ayla's talking, to the point that King Ayla's sold to be like, Sire, maybe you should invite them to eat. You know what I mean? So we have this really interesting scene in which it really represents the cultural differences between the two groups. When the Vikings are giving the food, they're eating like fucking people with no manners. They're just grabbing shit. There's no patience. They're just eating, enjoying themselves, burping, like just like breaking glasses with their foreheads, and just the English just leaning at them like, what the hell is wrong with these people? Do they have any, sense of decorum? And even, and there's one part of the scene too, also, when you have when they're eating, you have music being played and song, and the Vikings are saying, man, these people are weird. Who the hell plays music and sings when we're just trying to eat our food and all that stuff? So you have Ragnar negotiating with King Ayla, saying that he wants 2,000 pounds of gold, and and all that stuff. King Ayla says that he wants to make a deal with a fellow Christian instead of an enemy, and that Ragnar must promise not to attack any other surrounding towns of his kingdom. So it's agreed upon. But Rollo decides to become a Christian. So that scene was really kind of funny and interesting, because Rollo's like saying, what the fuck is wrong with this priest, as this priest is baptizing him and all that stuff. You have Floki literally being disgusted, spitting in the same vile way like that old man did when he seen the Vikings at first, a few scenes before. So you have them, the Christian people, King Ayla, kneeling down during the baptism, and Ragnar noticing and copying them, and the rest of the Vikings. So pretty much later in the scene, Floki calls out Rollo for betraying the gods and bringing misfortune upon everybody. And at first, you think that King was going to give Ragnar the money. Nope, turns out the chests were empty, and a big battle ensures with the Vikings just massacring them. And Rollo pretty much killing a shitload of Christians and saying after to Floki, how you think I'm forgiven by the gods, that I did everything right by the gods now since I killed so many Christians and all that. So eventually after that, another thing that happened. Now, remember that old man that I mentioned earlier? The old man that wanted to die in battle? He died. He went out in a blaze of glory. He got slashed in the back. Ragnar killed the guy that killed him. It was really a touching story, man. The dude said, finally Valhalla, got to me. So, yeah. After that, King Ayla brings back, King Ayla sends the 2,000 he was supposed to send off. And that was after Ragnar kills Lord Ethelwolf, King Ayla's brother. So as the Vikings are sailing off, you have King Ayla pretty much swearing an oath to Jesus and the Virgin Mary that he will bring Ragnar to justice, that he will bring death upon him, pretty much by all that is holy. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of that episode. But now there's one thing that happened. Litha miscarries. She miscarries at the end of the episode. And that was really heartbreaking for me to watch, But yeah, this is pretty much, my review of Vikings Season 1, Episode 7, entitled King's Ransom. Thank you for listening. I'd like for you guys to like the channel, subscribe, leave comments down below, and that's about it. Adios, peeps.